When you discover you're enrolled in an architecture construction class, you might be asking why. Well, architects design buildings, right? And builders build. So why do you need to know how to build? Hi everyone, I'm Liz Watt. Welcome back to my channel, the best place for students and new practitioners of architecture to learn easier and faster. In today's video, I'm going to answer the question, what can you expect in an architecture construction class? What will you learn and why? Today, I'm going to walk through three main aspects of construction classes. So firstly, the purpose of construction in architecture and your construction classes. Secondly, what to expect in a typical construction class and the sort of things that you might learn. And thirdly, how to take what you're learning in construction and start to integrate it into your other subjects and your work in practice. So if this interests you, then keep watching. So somewhere in your first year, second semester, you'll likely be introduced to a construction class. It may be called architectural performance, architectural technology, or materials and building systems, or something else along the lines of building a building or structure. So you will undertake several construction classes throughout your studies, each building upon the knowledge and the information of the last. Like most of your architecture studies, it is not something you can just learn for an assignment and cram for an exam. You're building a body of knowledge and understanding of how buildings and structures go together. Construction is a general term meaning the art and science of forming objects, systems, or organizations. So you may think you have no real interest in being on a dirty building site amongst bricks and pipes and concrete. So why do you need to understand about building? Surely that's for builders. Well, technically, yes. A builder and a range of tradespeople such as plumbers, carpenters, bricklayers, steelworkers, and electricians will be the ones on a building site who are physically laying the bricks, constructing timber frames and structures, and running pipes and cables throughout the building. But they need to know which bricks, pipes, and cables, and where exactly do they go. And the architect, along with other consultants, is the one to give them this information. That's you. As an architect, yes, we come up with the design, the form, the layout of the building or structure. Yes, the design is very important, but the design is never going to be built in real life if the builder does not know how and what pieces need to come together. A builder builds. An architect or designer design what the builder builds and then communicates to them in minute detail. Construction classes and subjects are about how buildings stand up, how they keep us dry and comfortable, what they can be made out of, how they go together, and how they can contribute to creating healthy and sustainable environments for human beings. While the development of design follows a kind of process, there is a lot of freedom to explore different ideas, options, and solutions to your design project. Now, during your design process, you'll need to be thinking about how the building or structure will be put together, the systems and materials that are going to make it stand up and function. Now, once your building form is fairly resolved, you'll need to document the different pieces of the building and how they go together in great detail. Now, systems are a set of elements that interact with each other according to certain rules. One way of thinking about a building or a structure is that it is literally a series of systems that come together within a bigger system. And your communication of those systems is through drawing systems. So in a way, construction is learning about different systems and how things go together so that you can then take them and apply them to your design in really creative and innovative ways. Some of the main themes or topics of construction classes include building systems, which are different parts of a building that go together to create a whole. So different building systems include floor, foundations at the base of the building, walls, roof frames, cladding or external skins that wrap around the buildings, window and door systems, waterproofing systems, and ceiling systems, and a ton more. You can think of a building like a lot of different systems working together as a whole. And as an architect, it's your job to understand and work out how all these different systems work and how they fit together. Then there's materials, which are the different things that buildings can be made of. We need to consider the aesthetics and the appearance of materials, the color, the texture, as well as the physical characteristics and properties, such as weight or how heavy it is, insulation, whether it keeps us cool or warm, waterproofing or weatherproofing, the cost, and how easily it can be used. And then there's documentation, which is a system of drawing used throughout the industry to document and communicate all the little details of your building design. Your documents include written documents called specifications and schedules, which we'll go into elsewhere, as well as graphic drawings. Now, drawings are produced at many different scales to show how every piece of the building fits together, from sort of an outline of the building and the size of the concrete slab on the ground, to the location of a window or a door opening, to the height of a door handle, and the size and location of every tile on a wall and every paint color. Other topics that then may be considered in construction classes include sustainability, which is a consideration of the impact of cities, buildings, and materials on the planet, other species, and human health and well-being. So this includes the way a material is produced, sourced, manufactured, processed, transported, and then constructed and completed, and even how you get rid of the waste on site. Sustainability is now a huge topic in itself and should be considered as a personal and ethical design philosophy in great detail, in addition to just understanding construction systems and how things go together. All your choices do have an impact. Technology's advances and alternative systems and unusual experiments or explorations of construction and design can also be considered in these classes. The teaching style in construction classes can vary a little depending on your university or institution. So there is a heavy focus on content and theory, which is likely to be addressed through some kind of an exam or written assignments. Plus, there's a little bit more practical design, and then drawing and documentation exercises to show your understanding of the content and how you can apply it to resolve some kind of a structure or design. You will be asked to participate or attend a series of lectures that cover different types of construction and building systems, materials, and working drawing or documentation systems. There is likely to be some form of independent learning then that supports that main lecture content and explores it in greater detail. This may include certain pages of textbooks, short videos, slides, readings, or even perhaps taking some examples of drawings that you'll be expected to study and understand, and then apply those principles and conventions into your own work and assessments. You will likely be asked to complete some working drawings for a project. So this could be a completely new project just for this subject or class, or it could be a little piece of your design project from your studio, or you might even be asked to look at an existing building or structure and then figure out all the parts that allowed it to be built, kind of like a reverse engineering. How does it go together? You could have a series of very small projects or one large project that runs through the whole semester and maybe builds upon itself. So this will be about applying your knowledge of building systems, materials, and construction drawings practically. Construction is really about understanding building systems and materials, applying them in successful ways that will hold your building up, and the ability to document these ideas through accepted drawing conventions so someone can build it. In your early construction classes, you may be asked to develop your drawings by hand because you don't have many skills yet. At this stage, either through the design studio or communications class or even your construction class, you might be introduced at some point to some kind of computer-aided design or CAD drawing software. So your university or institution will guide you to the appropriate software to use that they prefer and are going to teach you. A construction class may include a range of activities such as content review and discussion of content from weekly lectures and readings. So come prepared with any questions and make sure you're doing all your work that you need to before your tutorial. The tutorial may include some content specific to an assessment or in-class activity, or new information in response to student work. There could be detailed discussion of the assessment and project expectations and requirements with an opportunity to ask questions. You may also engage in in-class activities, either by yourself, but probably in small groups that are going to help you to test, explore, and discuss some of the different building systems and materials you've been learning about and see what does and doesn't work. You may be asked to build something or develop a drawing or construction detail of a part of a building or structure, or even visit a building site to see how what you're learning actually applies in real life. Some of these activities may feed into your assessment, but they're always about learning. It's likely that you will have an opportunity to get some feedback on your developing drawings. So this will often occur as a class sort of pin up on the wall where your tutor can quickly see everybody's work and pick out what is working well, not so well, and what the class may be struggling with as a whole. So you may receive some individual feedback, but much less than a design studio usually. Construction classes are unlikely to include a formal presentation like design studios, but they might. It would generally be expected that your drawings and documentation in construction can communicate for themselves without you kind of standing there and explaining. So as if you were literally giving it to a builder to build. The workload of a construction class is likely to be pretty intense. Like all your university subjects in architecture, you must be consistent in completing the required work each week. So construction classes will be different from a design class in that the content and process is likely to be more theoretical and a bit more structured. However, there's always some element of design, so it's up to you how much you choose to study and innovate, test and explore, and bring in what you're learning in design into your construction, and vice versa. So like all subjects and projects, try to find something that interests you and put together a study group of people who can help each other understand the content and explore different ideas and have a little bit of fun doing it. At first, construction classes can seem a little overwhelming with a lot of information. If you can kind of break it down to the idea that you're learning about 3 different systems: building systems, materials, and documentation systems, it'll start to make a bit more sense. In your early years, you will start with some very simple systems such as bricks and maybe timber framing. Over time, as your understanding of architecture, design, and the way to communicate grows, so too will the complexity of your construction knowledge and the building systems. So understanding the capabilities of building systems and materials is fundamental to the innovation and success of all designs. Like all your learning in architecture, you're building a body of knowledge in many different areas from which to draw from as you grow and develop your practice of architecture. So do your best to get interested and explore and really enjoy the process. If you have any questions or thoughts about construction subjects or construction or documentation in general, head over to archimash.com/askliz and let me know. If you want to know more, make sure you consider subscribing to my channel because I have a ton of content to share to help make learning, studying, and practicing architecture easier and faster. While you wait for the next episode, make sure you check out some of my other work here or at archimash.com. That's everything for today. I hope you found it helpful. Have a great day and I will see you next time.